What is up, guys? Silver Warrior here, and today I just wanted to discuss another political thing. Cause I said, like I said before, I was gonna be doing a few political videos today, just in terms of like what's gonna be happening now that Trump's president, some of his ideas, and one more thing I wanted to talk about today is something that I find very interesting because it links back to the silver market very heavily, and that is what's going on in the stock market right now and how stock market investors are freaking out because Trump's become president, and why that's just absolutely ludicrous. Now, do I think that there's going to be some kind of economic downfall eventually because of Trump? Most likely. I do think that he's going to add deficit to the country, and I think that once again we're going to have to get bailed out. I do believe that's going to happen. I think that, I don't know if the country will be put into another depression, or even a recession, but I do think that a lot's going to be added to our deficit. I think Trump might take the record for most ever added to a deficit, at least in one term if he doesn't get reelected. But do I think that that means that you should be throwing away your stocks right now? No, because that's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. Because consider this, okay? So many stocks have actually gone up right now that he's become president as well. So if you, rather than going and freaking out and throwing away your stocks, if you redistributed what stocks you were invested in, you could have made a lot more money instead of losing money by selling stocks for lower than what they're worth, because chances are you weren't the first person to sell. If you're selling your stock right now, the first people to sell were the ones that were selling to buy other stocks to redistribute, because those are the people that were intelligent. The rest of them are following those people's example, except instead of doing the intelligent thing, because since they don't understand enough about the stock market, they're simply being foolish, selling off their stocks to other people who are smart enough to realize that I'm getting these stocks for a great deal now that nobody wants them right now for this 5 minutes that it's going to last, and they're selling them off, losing money on the stocks, maybe even taking a little bit of loss just to avoid what they think is going to be a stock market crash, when really you're causing the stock market crash. You selling your stock is the only thing that's causing that crash. It's not a real crash. It's a fabricated one that is created by the massive herds of people who are simply not brave enough to stick by whatever they invested in. People who invest in the stock market but then barely really invest in it, don't really understand what they're investing in, and just do it because everyone else told them to invest in the stock market in the first place. And that's just absolutely ridiculous, because now what's going to happen is those stocks are going to bounce back up as everyone starts to come back to the market. You're going to rebuy those stocks for more than what you sold them for. You're going to lose money, and you're going to have an excuse for it. And there is no excuse other than the fact that you were foolish to sell your stock because you're afraid that the stock market might go down for 5 minutes. Oh, what's going to happen? What, are you planning on making a living day to day off of stocks? Because that's not the way the market works. If that's how you're trying to invest, by making money every single day by buying stocks, then you're doing it the wrong way. It takes sometimes weeks or even months, or even sometimes years, people hold on to stocks before they'll ever see a return. You can't jump out of the market as soon as you see a little bit of turbulence. That's not the way that you're supposed to invest. And the reason I bring this up is because this is such a big thing in the silver market. The price goes down $2, everybody sells, and it just becomes a free-for-all. Alright, one scenario is, let's say the price drops a few dollars, everyone gets scared and starts selling and selling and selling. And the price only drops because of the manipulators. And once they see everyone selling, all it does is help them lower the price even more. And you create an artificial dip in silver, because it's not a real dip, it's really more like a price displacement, because the price is only going to be going down for maybe a day or two, or maybe a couple weeks. Probably it was more realistic, but the market before it bounces back up. But what ends up happening is everyone starts selling and getting really scared, and the price just keeps on going lower and lower and lower, and that just makes the market look less viable, and all you're doing is hurting the silver investing community as a whole. It's the same type of thing with the stock market going on with when Donald Trump became president. So many people selling their stocks because they're so afraid that the stocks are going to lose value, and they don't realize that the stocks are going to go right back up in a week or two. It's really not like the stock market's going to collapse because of Donald Trump. No president's ever successfully collapsed the stock market just by coming into office. That's not the way it works. The stock market doesn't collapse just because someone's in office. And a lot of stocks have gone up. Stocks in prisons have gone up, which is kind of funny if you think about it, just because of his policies. That's why they've gone up. But other stocks have gone up too. I'm willing to bet you that weapon stocks are going to be going, stocks in weapons companies, because Trump is a huge advocator for gun sales. Now remember, I'm not like an expert in expert stockbroker, so like don't take my advice solely to heart. But I'm willing to bet that at the same time here that the companies will start to go up. You'll see a rise in companies that sell guns, firearms, because Trump's going to make it so that they're going to go up because they're going to be seeing more business as certain things are passed, especially with the Republican House of Representatives and a Senate. So really the stock market's going to be getting helped. It's just if you redistributed your money in the stock market wisely, that's when you'll be making the money. You're not going to make the money by selling your stocks and waiting for it to crash and just be like, oh, I'll break even just because I'm afraid the stock market's going to crash. That's not going to happen. The stocks that you sold are going to bounce back way harder and come up to a way higher price that you'll be paying for them, by the way, because you're going to be such a fool that once everyone starts buying the stock again, that's when you'll buy it once it's at that higher price, and all you're going to be doing is losing money. That's what's going to end up happening. So it's just absolutely ridiculous, and I really hope that none of you guys watching this are falling for that, because it's ludicrous. I mean, another example with silver is like when the price goes up and bubbles, and that's when everyone starts buying, and then once the price starts to fall, everyone starts selling. It's the same type of thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you keep on following the crowd, you're going to lose the money because the person leading you doesn't know what they're doing. And the other thing is that the people you're following, the very first people you're following, because the crowd, it just becomes like a big swarm, after a little bit of, either a financial expert tells people to do something, or like they just see what's someone selling their stocks. But the people who are usually leading you have their own intentions in mind, where they're going to be making money and you're going to be losing it. But either way, I do hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful to you if you were thinking about selling stocks. And that is it for this one. Peace, love, and much respect.